Hey folks, Gary here. Happy Monday morning to you. I hope you're having a real good start to your day. I am. This is a beautiful, beautiful morning, and what a great place to be. I really enjoy being on our deck first thing in the morning, doing these videos, praying to God, seeking His direction for the day, what He wants to do, just being in His presence. This is a really good place to do that. I hope you have a place like that. Do you have a place where you go, kind of like a prayer closet? That's what we call it. It doesn't have to actually be a closet. It just needs to be a place where you go to meet with God. And we're going to talk about that this week. We're going to talk about special places, the special places that we have where we meet with God. And so today we're going to look at a guy named Jacob. Yeah, so we're looking at this in Genesis chapter 35. So a lot of verses here, so I'll start reading them, and I might cough throughout that because somehow I picked up a cold somewhere. So that's just life. But here we go. 35 verse 1. God told Jacob, "Return to Bethel where I appeared to you when you were running from your brother Esau. Make your home there and build an altar for me." And Jacob said to his family and to everyone else who was traveling with him, "Get rid of your foreign gods. Make yourself acceptable to worship God and put on clean clothes." Does that sound like Sunday morning when you're trying to get ready for church? Hey, everybody, will you brush your hair? Will you get dressed? So he's getting his family ready. Verse 3. "Afterwards we will go to Bethel, and I will build an altar there for God, who answered my prayers when I was in trouble and who has always been at my side." He said, I'm going to build an altar to honor the God who's always been with me. That's a special place. I'm going to build an altar there. Verse 4. "So everyone gave Jacob their idols and their earrings, and he buried them under an oak tree near Shechem." He doesn't want them. He says, that's it. They're done. We're burying them. They are dead to us because God's important, and we're going to go worship Him. While Jacob and his family were traveling through Canaan, God terrified the people in the town so much that no one dared bother them. So God says, hey, you're coming to worship me? I'm going to make sure you get here. Jacob is vulnerable, but God's got plans for him. He's got plans for his family. So no one's going to touch them because God's going to take care of that. Finally, they reached Bethel, known as Les, and Jacob built an altar there, and he called it God of Bethel, because that was the place where God had appeared to him when he was running from Esau. While they were there, Rebekah's personal servant, Deborah, died, and they buried her under the oak tree and called it the Weeping Oak. There's something in there. I don't have time to really dig into that, but that'd be a neat thing to look at. Oh, hold on a second. The dog tax. There we are. So moving on here. Verse 9. "After Jacob came back to the land of Canaan, God appeared to him again. This time he gave Jacob a new name and blessed him by saying," what do you think Jacob's new name is? You know what it is. "I am the God all-powerful, and from now on your name will be Israel." That's where we get the name Israelites. Israel, the nation of Israel. As Jacob, his name is changed from deceiver and liar to Israel. He's now God's people. We'll just continue on here, okay? "And you will have many children. Your descendants will become nations, and some of the men in your family will even be kings. I will give you the land that I promised Abraham and Isaac, and it will belong to your family forever." After God had gone, Jacob set up a large rock so that he would remember what had happened there. It's a special place. He said, I need to remember what God said to me. I need to remember this time. I'm going to put a rock here, kind of like another altar, so I can remember what God did. It's a special place to me, right? Then he poured wine and olive oil on the rock to show that it was dedicated to God, and he named the place Bethel. And of course, we read about Bethel all through the New Testament and with Jesus. So kind of a neat passage of scripture here. But there's a special place. That's kind of what I want to get to. Jacob is making it a special place. Why is that important? Why is that important in our lives? Sometimes we have special places. There's some special places in my life, things that I remember. And I remember because I really met God in those places. But what I want to say is this. God's not restricted to those places. God is everywhere. And so a lot of times when it comes to a special place with God, The key factor is what's going on inside of here. What are you doing inside my heart? That's the part that needs to be really special, is there's room for God in here. But it's also cool to have a place that you go to, because when you have a place that you go to, you have an anticipation, you got an expectation that something great's going to happen. And when you really expect something to take place, a lot of times it does. So, do you have a special place? Maybe think about that. Where's a place where I can go to pray and be alone with God? I'm not asking that question so you can tell me where I need to go, but for yourself, where's a special place where you can go and be alone with God and just sit and listen? All right, have an awesome Monday. We'll see you tomorrow.